Thank you. Thank you all for joining today's event. I'm really excited and I'm really happy to have Nikos and Chaldeos and Katerina Ntenti with us today. For me, I think that it's a special event because I have the privilege and the pleasure to work daily with both of them in the company that we are working, and I know them professionally and personally, and I can say that both of them are doing are the silent people. They're really good in the background, doing like professional work and excellent dealing with excellent results and situations, and that was a reason that I want them to take them out of their comfort zone and be in the foreground, in the like in front. So I would say some words about Katerina. She's an ETL engineer with experience in banking, in telco industry, and currently in European organizations. She has a hands-on experience with ETL pipelines and data warehouse, integration of large-scale software systems and data quality testing. This is something that we're going to, she is going to elaborate further with us today. And Nikos Chaldeos, he has on his shoulders 25 years of experience in IT industry, and he specialized in the software quality and systems integration. He's currently as a test manager and quality consultant for a European organization. So before joining this organization, he worked also as a senior implementation specialist at the health tech industry. Also has experience with various testing, quality, system integration, migration on large-scale projects such as Olympic Games, which I hope that he is going to mention something today. And other kind of projects, related projects. Just for the point that I would like to stress is that Nikos is the person that made the easy ride for the BI and analytics meetup group to start, because he provided all the information he has while he is a co-organizer of Ministry of Testing in Athens, here in Greece, with other people from the same company that we work. So also for me, it's also an extra happy point there. So we'll leave the floor to both of them. And I hope that you are going to enjoy the meeting as much as the others, and I'm sure that we will. Nikos.
Hello, thank you, Smiri, for your kind words and the introduction. I'm very honored to be with you. So let's start the presentation. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Smiri said, my name is Nikos Chaldeos. I'm a former beach boy and a test engineer, now giving a go at business intelligence and data integration. So wish me luck. First of all, I would like to thank the overall business intelligence analytic team for hosting us, and I hope all the participants will find our presentation useful. In today's meetup, we are going to talk about data quality and ETL testing. Going from test engineering to data quality was a challenging period for me. User interfaces, reference application, and visual representation of the data that is considered a standard reference for all the testing activities is not always the case for data management and testing. However, throughout my career in life, I frequently face problems derived from data that have different impact that have different impact to people and companies. Indicatively, I will mention in Olympic records, for instance, wrong records and medals could be awarded to athletes due to incorrect historical data of the world records and previous Olympic Games. In European Chemical Agency, hazardous substances could be produced or imported in the European Union, and that could affect the environment and the planet itself. And the last and very popular, monitoring the pandemic progress worldwide, defined the actions taken by the data collected and affected the daily routine of everybody on this planet. As you can understand, the list is endless. I can expand to financial, banking, betting, and all other types of popular business that generate or consume data. I'm pretty sure that you all have similar experiences to share with us, and we will be glad if you can share them with us and discuss them at the end of the last part of the presentation. In today's presentation, we will outline the so-called data quality dimensions, but also share with you some techniques that helped us towards to better data quality. Today's presentation, as you can see in the agenda, it will be divided in two parts. The first part will be the domain aspects, data KPIs and acceptance criteria, where in the second part, where Katerina will present, where the topics are ETL testing, data quality firewall, and automation packages. So let's get started. As enterprises in the world are trying to adopt to the new wave of cutting-edge technologies like automation, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, their success criteria and their ability to differentiate themselves will be dependent upon their ability to manage the exponential growth in data and get data management right. In this chapter, we will present why data quality is essential and the benefits that provides to organizations. Some of the common benefits that the quality of data provide are quality of service. The better data quality, the more confidence users will have in their outputs or products. Minimizing guesswork in their outcome increases efficiency and contributes to decision-making and therefore in organizational success. Second is decision-making. Good data empowers riskless decision-making, allowing teams to be more productive by focusing on the core mission and objectives. Third in the list is compliance. In industries where regulations govern the vitality of the organization and set the day-to-day activities, compliance is an ongoing focus as regulations continue to evolve. Good quality data in association with business reporting mechanisms sometimes serve as proof of regulations compliance for both practical and legal purposes. Confidence. When there is lack of trust in data quality, confidence in the results can be challenged. That can cause obstacles to organizational growth and reduces further investment in data and quality improvement initiatives. The next one is opportunities. More insights based on quality data equals to more opportunities that can lead to significant advantages. All companies should treat data as an asset, maintain the quality in order to obtain insights that can lead to competitive advantages. Next one is risk and revenue. Bad data could lead to several risk and revenue losses. For instances like, for example, health insurance, constant changing of premiums against medical costs is critical for company sustainability and development. Last but not least, and a very important one, is reputation. Good quality data can lead to outstanding reliability and reputation of organizations. Reputational cost reputational costs range from trivial off to disaster level that often leads to make or break of business, even the most successful ones. I'm sure that from the list above, you can understand of the impact that all the bad data quality may have to companies, and how the prices may affect it by failing to any of these. Empowering companies to success by quality-focused data management should be considered the main objective of all data professionals. Of course, like an old saying says, for all quality matters, data quality may be easy to recognize, but is very difficult to achieve and measure. The next slide will try to approach and prove quality using measurable data quality dimensions and the respective KPIs. So what is data quality dimensions? Data quality dimensions are measurement attributes of data which can individually assess, interpret, and improve as needed. Key performance indicators monitoring based on this data quality dimension helps to define data quality levels by providing the actual scores to each dimension. The aggregated scores of multiple dimensions represent the overall data quality in your business context and indicate how fit your data are for public or official use. Now let's go through to all of them and list the most important data quality dimensions, starting from data completeness. Data completeness is a dimension that helps you answer the question, how complete is your data set? There should be no gaps or missing information for data to be truly complete. Next important dimension is uniqueness. Data uniqueness dimension checks if there are any duplicates within your data. It is considered the most critical dimension for ensuring not duplication, and that could impact the quality and the outcomes. Data timeliness. Data timeliness answers to the questions such as how up to date is your information? Can it be used for real-time reporting? In practice, timeliness refers to when and how the information will be available. Next is data validity. Data validity covers the common question, does the data fit the defined range and definition? Data is considered valid only if it conforms to syntax such as format, type, range, and of course against the definition and the requirements defined. Next important dimension in the list is data accuracy. Data accuracy, on the other hand, covers the question, is the data an accurate representation of the element it describes? For a value to be accurate, it must be presented in a consistent and unambiguous form. A classic example of this that we all faced during our careers is different date formats in different countries. Others prefer day, month, year. Others prefer a month, day, year, and we can see all possible combinations. The accurate collection and the respective representation of them is one of the targets of the data accuracy. Last in the list is data consistency. Data consistency checks if your data is synchronized across your organization. This dimension ensures that there is no difference when comparing two or more representations of the same thing against a common definition. These are pretty much the data quality dimension. And as straightforward as it may seem, testing and fixing the above can be a very challenging task. Please make sure that you reserve a significant amount of time in your plans in covering the above data quality dimension. I still remember endless rounds in detecting, fixing, and retesting this dimension in a recent project we were working with Katerina, and the many challenges we faced. We minimize we minimize the risk, and until we finally manage to automate them and incorporate these checks into the daily flow of the project we were working. Now, how we approach testing this dimension. Testing and fixing the data dimension usually occurs in batches. Your first goal should always try to detect a pattern that affects a large amount of data inconsistencies and try to focus on this big batch. Once you detect and eventually fix the big batches, then you can focus on smaller batches of data sets until you eventually resolve most of the issues. And what lesson we have learned from our recent involvement in this practice, and based on our experience, absolute perfect match of the above dimensions cannot be achieved easily. If actually many of our colleagues in the ETL engineering say that this is impossible, but we recommend constant monitoring of them to monitor if the levels are going up or down. Now, for the next slide, we are going to talk about the acceptance criteria. Same as in theater movies, the data quality verification finale is always the hardest part. There must be a set of agreed criteria on quality levels that, when fulfilled, the completion of a project can be proved and justified. This is called acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria, also sometimes called the definition of done, exit criteria. Maybe you hear a lot of terms similar to this. They're called like this because they determine that the scope and requirements that were agreed and designed were successfully implemented. If acceptance criteria are fulfilled, then the project is considered finished, and only then is ready to be distributed for public or official use. The quality criteria for data project is not a lot different than in software testing, and it is usually divided in two important milestones: data quality dimensions and business relevance. For the first part, for the data quality dimensions, if all the validation goals regarding data completeness, uniqueness, and all the dimensions described earlier are covered, then this part of acceptance criteria is fulfilled. Supportive outcome of these criteria are usually a metrics report that proves the outcome and the quality of the data. Right after that, team members, data consumers, and the remaining of the teams focus to business relevance, the second important part of the acceptance criteria. Data consumers want to shop for data that correctly aligns with the requirements and business need. They don't want to waste their effort on data that is not immediately relevant to their assigned task. Only at that time comes true data accuracy, which ensures that the selected data will correctly deliver the results and support their tasks. Both data quality and business relevance are considered essential and can affect each other. Last-minute changes in requirements and therefore in business relevance are often observed in projects. I'm pretty sure that if I ask all of you, you have witnessed something like this, last-minute changes that could affect the whole project and put the delivery days at risk. Same as in all other functions, such changes may affect ETL design, and for that reason, data quality dimensions, the first part where we have completed before the business relevant, need to be revisited and reassessed. Depending the nature of the changes, project plans and product delivery, of course, are affected, and therefore the release date can be compromised or renegotiated. So, and with the acceptance criteria slide, the part one of the presentation is considered completed. I'm now giving you the floor to Katerina Ntenti, a great colleague and pioneer in data quality that I had the privilege to work with in several data quality missions. Let's all welcome Katerina and initiate the second part of the presentation.
Nikos, thank you very much for your kind words. It is my pleasure to co-present the session with you, as well as working with you and Ismini. I would also like to thank Ismini and the BI and Analytics Meetup team for this opportunity, having us here. So let me introduce myself. I am Katerina Ntenti. I'm an ETL engineer, working as an ETL engineer for the last 5.5 years. And today our goal is to share some knowledge and go through data quality and ETL testing. So Nikos, I think I will start sharing now. So let me know if everything is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Katerina, we can go.
So guys, let's start. Give me a minute to set up things here. Okay, so ETL and data testing are not terms we usually hear, but for data-oriented projects, data testing is essential. ETL testing is very different from application testing since it needs a more data-centric approach. The role of a data quality tester in such projects is in fact a collaborative role, who is often involved in at the phase where business analysts gather the respective requirements and the dev team starts implementation. Then the ETL testers prepare their test data and usually choose a QA environment to perform their data checks on the transformations and new integrations. But when and why do you need a data quality tester? When you have a new data pipeline or a new integration, either it is a simple ETL pipeline or a large-scale data warehouse from scratch, all of the new entities should be tested. Also for data migration projects, for instance, when migrating from one ETL tool to another, from one database server to another, every entity must be tested to ensure consistency and completeness of data. When adding a new data source, let's suppose we add a new data source in the form of XML files, then the loading process of those files, XML files, to the landing area should also be tested. When confidential or personal information is integrated and reported, then data quality testing is crucial. We can all imagine such consequences if this information is exposed. When there are suspected data issues, for example, if the business owners or customers complain about the data, or we have loading performance issues, this may insinuate problems on the ETL process and the quality of data. In conclusion, ETL testing is needed whenever data is loaded or transformed for any reason. Therefore, let's see now how can we test data of an ETL pipeline or a data warehouse. Usually, in an ETL pipeline or a data warehouse, data is transformed and integrated according to the customers or end user specifications, or the product owner specifications if it is a product-driven project. So easy quality checks can be made by the ETL tester when testing the integrated data after the transformation against the business or a logical rule set, against the algorithms used when it comes to metrics or complex calculations, or even against a simple list of values. For example, true, false, or NA as the possible values after a field's transformation. In addition, when integrating new data sources, the validation data types and default values should be tested because, for instance, when we load the timestamp field to a date field, we trunk the timestamp, but is this correct? Is this expected? Is this even requested? Or when the business user expects in a field to see the default date as 1st of January of 1990. This transformation should also be verified by the tester. Moving on, an important data quality check to perform is to verify that there are no duplicate entries on the entities of a data warehouse or an ETL pipeline. Duplicates often find their way, unfortunately, to the target area and cause performance or further data issues. Other simple ETL tests that can be performed daily are the following. In a data warehouse, for example, row count comparison between the source and landing tables to test the loading, or even between the landing tables and the data warehouse tables. For example, if we're talking about the dimension table that holds countries, we can test the source entity, count the countries, and see that the dimension table also has the same number of countries and nothing is lost. Fields comparison using SQL- or something similar that ensures that also the completeness of data and consistency is the same after the loading and transformation. For example, suppose we have two columns, code and description. Doing this SQL-, we verify that the actual values of code and descriptions are the same when loading from the source to the landing area. They should not differ. So row count and field comparison techniques can be used for data migration projects testing as well, or can even be a daily part of the ETL flows as regression tests running on top. To conclude, ETL testing is applicable on every step of an ETL process. But manual testing takes too long, unfortunately, due to the volume and variety of data. Moreover, manual ETL testing is not sufficiently repeatable for a data warehouse or an ETL in comparison to application testing. So extensive manual testing for all the entities of a data warehouse is not really realistic. On the other hand, test automation requires initial planning and ongoing effort, but once technical teams embrace it, the project success is feasible. What to automate, when to automate, or even whether one really needs automation are all crucial decisions which the testing or development team must make. Tools that can be used for ETL automation are tools like query search or data gaps, which are not open source, or other ETL tools that provide some data quality functionalities themselves. If tools like this are not available in your organization, then why not build automation packages using a scripting language or even the ETL tool functionalities? For example, by implementing regression tests using scripts and executing daily row counts or on all of the data warehouse entities, we can verify that there are not empty tables, that the loading is as expected at the end of the day. All of the data entities should be tested with automations, and the manual workload would be significantly reduced. Not to mention that with automation testing, the testing outcome can be reported on a daily basis and be very useful for the testing team. So moving on to the next slide, we present the idea of a data quality firewall, or else DQF. In fact, not all ETL tools provide such a functionality, but even if they do, such as the Oracle's Data Integrator or else ODI tool, we can further extend it by encapsulating all those automated ETL testing processes in a so-called data quality firewall. This firewall can be built in the same ETL pipeline using ETL tools or a scripting language, SQL, for example. The idea is to let only clean data to pass and be transformed and loaded. So let's see some feature highlights. The data quality firewall should permit only valid data to pass or be integrated. It should store invalid data in error tables so they can be later analyzed, reported. It should allow the rejection of individual rows so the user could decide whether to reject or accept the batch load. And it should also allow recycling of those erroneous records. The data quality firewall concept can be extended even more. Erroneous data and the associated failed business rules, for example, could be reported through ETL reporting and data visualization tools such as Power BI, Tableau, or Sabio, and provide sufficient information to business users or even the dev and testing teams regarding the quality of the data processed. It can even allow data analysis on the erroneous records caught by the firewall and easy monitoring. Daily reports generated on top of the error tables could depict significant quality issues and raise quality warnings on time. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you all for participating today. I would like to close with the following quote. Trust is a hard thing to win and an easy thing to lose. The same applies for data quality. Thank you all.
Wow. Well done, guys.
This is stolen from Nikos Chaldeos, the last quote.
Joined the
I
decision.
admit it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, that makes me, like more, happy to learn more about what you're doing there.
It's not a secret.
Yeah. Now we have the open floor for questions for Nikos and Katerina. If you would like to ask.
Doesn't have to be a question. We can discuss any of the topics that we present or any other data quality that concerns the participants.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I'm pretty sure that especially for the pandemic part, the data played a crucial role. To know how accurate or complete they were when they were collecting information about about the infections around the world. Some countries were reluctant to distribute the information, and this, of course, is not part of data quality. Data quality serves what he has in a better way. He cannot invent data. He can predict, but
so did you encounter, okay, did you encounter like a huge, like, oh my God, that situation?
yes, we had plenty.
Yeah, just give one.
Nick, the one you told me earlier.
About the Olympic records, and yes, yeah. The day before the start of each Olympic Games, there is a very intense day that where we collect the world and Olympic records from all the competitions around the world. So this comes to a central repository and sets the current records. So we have a very limited time to verify that these records data are correct, and we import them into the system in order for the viewers, when a record is broken, to see that this is a new world record, a new European record, a new Asian record. They have several categories, and it's usually a full 24 hours revision. We don't leave the technical operations center, and we review the records one by one very carefully, because if we don't do so, a wrong record may be awarded to athletes that they don't deserve. And they collect this data from the competitions all over the world. They collect the data, the record data from Asia, from Europe, from Africa, Americas, Australia. So they have a unified way, of course, to report this. Federations take a big part in this collection of the world records. Mm-hmm. And yes, this is, according to my experience, the most intense data quality task that I have been involved, because it can affect even politics sometimes. If you don't give a proper world record to somebody, the president may be offended and throw an official notification to the International Olympic Committee, etc.
Okay.
That's a short story from me.
Yeah. Nice. So we have, yeah,
a question.
From Petros, that he's asking that if you have loss of data during ETL testing, what can you do? Or how can you approach, do you approach this issue?
Mm-hmm. Nikos, can I answer that? Would you like to answer this?
Of course, Katerina, please.
So we usually lose data. This happens a lot of times. What we do is, first of all, re-examine our ETL flow, going backwards, starting from the target area to the landing area, revisiting all the transformations, see where this data is lost, in which part, the target area, the transformation area, or the landing area, or the source system has any issue or a connection issue and we didn't get the data. So it is a backwards investigation from the DW, let's say, to the source systems. Finally, we
can lose, but of course there is also the history tables that every
keep historicity. Exactly.
Yes.
Usually they are stored there in the history tables. If not, there is a problem with the source system.
Yeah, And sometimes source systems also lose data where the data management team has this data. It can also happen this. They serve both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another question. Like, I'm wondering which part of verification of data quality, like the technical or the business is more difficult? Did you understand my question? Because, like you are in between. You need to work also with the developers. You need to work also with the business analysts, like the people, like bringing the whole thing. And so which one do you find that is more difficult?
Usually the more difficult is the business team where they, and this is was part of the presentation about the business relevance, where no matter how precise and proper your data are, there are always challenges where the business point of view arrives. So they challenge everything. The numbers of the data quality dimension cannot lie or cannot go wrong. You have a proof, but the most challenging, I think, at least my opinion, is the business where they challenge the already rectified data.
I agree with Nikos.
Okay, so it's not a technical point of view only. So
yes,
this is the
technical,
data.
of course, requires a lot of effort in order to achieve a very good quality of data. It takes a lot of effort, but it's your queries and your scripts. You don't have interference and character challenging your outcome like the business users usually do.
So we have another question from Dimitris. Is it possible to use Python-based, for example, tools for automation and verification?
Of course, yes, it is. Any scripting language, if the ETL tool itself does not provide such functionalities, of course, using either SQL scripting or Python scripting, it just has to be specific. I mean, it depends on how your data warehouse or ETL pipeline is set. But yes, it is possible.
So Nikomaki, so is ETL, when you hear that someone is a tester, you always think of software testing. Is ETL testing a new career in IT?
Nick, would you like to answer that?
Yes, I believe so. Currently, there is not, at least to my knowledge, there are not any ETL testing certifications that exist or special ETL testing directive. So I believe, yes, Nikomaki, it's a new career in IT, and it is a promising one.
Mm-hmm.
So back in my days when I was starting also dealing with the data analytics projects, like as a data analyst, you would do almost also the data quality. You will also incorporate in your daily responsibilities all these issues. But I think that with the expansion of data and the volume, the speed, the velocity in general that we have in our pipelines, in our data pipelines, you know, like a data analyst cannot really resolve everything. So I think that it's a matter of, you know, like the need that we need to act fast on specific, you know, like on our pipelines, you know, to act fast, to make decision fast, and you know, like in a way we need to break the workload. So, you know, like in the last 10 years, I've seen, you know, like data engineers, data architect, you know, like analytics engineer and data scientist and, you know, like a data tester. So it's really increasing, you know, like expanding the whole data universe of roles and professions. Yeah. So it's quite, I think that's quite essential. For me, I haven't heard, you know, like the famous quote, in, out.
Yes.
I think that you didn't want to.
The focus is garbage in, garbage out. When
Yeah,
we
okay,
receive,
yeah.
I said it more politely.
Yeah, thanks, Nikos.
Of course, we cannot do much about this case. We try to sort even the garbage out and mark them appropriately.
Mm. So Tony is asking here, is it possible to have a CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins as in a software testing project, but for ETL testing or data testing? Is it a common practice?
I think it depends. Personally, I have not used the CI/CD pipelines in any data project. I think it depends on the tool, the ETL tool, and if it is a traditional data warehouse, if it is cloud, I don't know. Nikos, have you any experience with?
No, I don't have any experience. I don't think it's a straightforward connection. I'm pretty sure that if we attempt, we will manage to have a pipeline in Jenkins, but I believe that it requires a lot of intervention, a lot of code, but it's not, to my knowledge at least, there is not, cannot be directly connected.
Okay. So another question from Petros. Thank you, Petros, for the questions. Do you think that the future of ETL testing is AI and the cloud?
Yes, most likely
Not.
ETL testing will also be involved in the AI and the cloud, definitely. Everything is there already, so in the cloud.
In concept that you can process larger amounts of data autonomously without need of human intervention in real time. I think there is also the future, I think, you know, like the no human intervention.
Yes.
You know, like they're talking about headless BI departments where they're, you know, like machines, artificial intelligence algorithms, and, you know, like the decision making slowly, I think that in the future will also be transported a bit, you know, like towards, you know, like machines or, you know, like the codes, how they function in general, you know, like in a more functional world. I don't know, like in a more, I would put it like this. And, but on the other hand, you know, like I think that there should always be, you know, like a critical eye on the things. I mean, you know, like we really cannot live outside, you know, like the human factor on the critical, on, you know, like being critical, okay, about the actions or the decisions. So I think that this is also, you know, like for at least, you know, like the impact of, you know, like technology and data. They're walking hand in hand, they're running, not walking, they're running in general, hand in hand. And then, you know, like we will arrive at the point that we will really need people, you know, like with critical thinking, you know, like understanding, okay, what is the results, what we can do. It's a bit more philosophical, but okay. And we have don't leave me ramble here. So Stelios, is it possible to perform ETL testing using a BI tool? Could this be more meaningful?
Of course. I think we already do that, yes, because you can design specific reports to test data warehouse entities. So yes, it would be an easy way for a tester to validate business-wise the data transformations and loading.
Yeah, and as stated in the presentation, can be often used as a proof. BI tool is used as a proof to verify the outcome of the ETL testing.
Okay, and Stelios is asking regarding projects with streaming data. The processes are the same, or we have to follow more safety steps?
It could be the same. I mean, if you build something like a data quality firewall, this would be enabled all the time. Of course, because data is streaming and the volume of data is larger, yes, it will need probably more you know, consideration on what the tests would be, and they should not affect performance also. Yes.
I think that also in this kind of situation, maybe, you know, like the error reporting, maybe, you know, like with the streamline data, you know, the error reporting, you know, like to be able to, besides the fact that you have your ETL testing, but also, you know, like to be, you know, like a bit more on real time, you know, checking, you know, like alerts. We can build, I don't know, like alerts with, you know, like different kind of the error analysis, maybe, you know, like quite important, but not like explode alerts. This is another thing. Yeah, the streamline, the streaming data is quite important also, you know, like, yeah, stream real-time data, but you can have rules to filter, yeah. But on the other hand, you know, streaming data, then you can have like behavior, another behavior that really, you know, change, you know, like the usual channel, something unexpected, something there. Yeah, it's always a challenging, yeah.
You can then also define levels of error. I mean, if data is full of errors according to your rules, then a warning should appear or something. I mean, you can define the level of testing, of course.
Yeah. Nice. Do you have something else to add, another question or something Or you can unmute yourself and ask directly, though it's not that we're listening our own voices, you know, like only here. So yeah, if you don't have any other question or, you know, like any kind of other congratulations to say to the guys and the guy and the girl, I think that slowly we can, you know, like call it a day. And, you know, like put some music and yeah, and enjoy our evening.
Thank you very much. It was very informative.
Thank you, Nikomachis.
Yeah, Nikos put the music back. Yeah, you know, like, yeah, thank you all
Thank
for
you, guys.
Thank
coming.
you.
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah,
Very
and
good.
you know,
And
like,
soon.
And we can say that.
Can
Yeah.
Why
we?
not? Why not? We are all expecting Friday. Thank you, guys.
I will stop also recording.
Mhm.